Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It is so good to be here with you all. I am always looking forward to Mondays because on Mondays we book club. And so, why is book club so important? One, because we are never ever going to learn more than we are, never going to earn more than we learn. Number two, you cannot pour from an empty cup. And then number three, you guys, leaders are readers. It's just as simple as that. And it doesn't even it doesn't matter what career you're in. Leaders are readers, and that is why it's so important for you to understand that book club is important for each and every one of us. Now, what I love about it is I'm going to say number 4 is because you just want to be here with me, right? And I love helping the book to come alive for you, right? That is what I absolutely love. It is my passion. I have a gift to help you to get into the mind or to help you understand the mind of the author. And we are going to help to bring this book alive to you. We are currently reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And so as you're logging on, let me know what city, what state, and or what country you might be logging in from. Let me know. Now, listen, y'all know we got to tag and share, okay? Tag and share. Let everybody know that we are live. That's what I was doing. I'm going to post it on one more platform before we get started to make sure that we have 100% participation, because sharing is caring, okay? Sharing is caring. So that is what I was doing as we were trying to get started this evening, but I want to make sure I post it on one more platform to let everybody know that we are live on book club and that everyone is invited to participate with us. You guys, I'm going to make sure I post this even with my other teams of business partners that may not even speak the language, right? You never know. You never know who's going to need what. And so as you're logging on, you all let me know, what has this book done for you? If this book has impacted your life, as I'm trying to make sure I get it posted on every platform. If this book has impacted your life, what has this book done for you? Let me know in the chat. Let me know how this book is impacting your life. And I'm going to tell you all something. I've read this book already, but I believe 100% that based on who you are, based on where you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the book is different for us at different parts of our lives. So because you are not the same person you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, this book should come to life for you in a different way. And so we left off, we are in chapter 5, and we left off last week smack dab in the middle of chapter 5, and we are going to get started. What I love too is that you don't even need the book. You don't even need the book. Let me know what has been the best part of this book for you. What has been that aha revelation for you? Maybe some of you got this. Hey, North Carolina, I see you, Anithia. I'll be in your area this weekend in Charlotte. So if you're in Charlotte anywhere, you guys, holla at me. Get in the inbox and let me know. And so we're in chapter 5, and we're going to finish chapter 5. I believe we should be able to get through chapter 5 this week so that we can move into chapter 6, which is imagination. And so the author has done a very, very great job of helping us to see. Now, I don't know, maybe you got the revelation in the introduction of the book. Maybe you got the revelation in chapter 1. Maybe you are still waiting on the revelation, right? No matter where you are, whether you already got the revelation, whether you're waiting, whether you waiting for the revelation, whether you think you're almost there, Soteria, here's the deal. Don't beat yourself down. Everybody's going to get it at different times. Some of us got it right smack dab in the beginning of the book. Some of us are getting it as we read, and some of us will get it as we go forward. So let's continue as we enter into the wonderful world of reading, and we are in chapter 5. Let us consider a specific instance. During the Depression, a salesman in a grocery store found himself without a position. Meaning what? A salesman in a grocery store found himself with no job. Having had some bookkeeping experience, he took a special course in accounting, familiarized himself with all of the latest bookkeeping and office equipment, and went into business for himself. Starting with the grocer for whom he had formerly worked, he made contracts with more than 100 small merchants to keep their books at a very nominal fee. His idea was so practical that he soon found it necessary to set up a portable office and a light delivery truck where he equipped with which he equipped with modern bookkeeping machinery. He now has a fleet of those bookkeeping offices on wheels and employs a large staff of assistants, thus providing small merchants with accepting service equal to the best that money can buy at a very nominal cost. Now I want to pause right there. And I want all of you to, let's talk about, he had no job. During the Depression, he was a salesman who had no job. He found himself with no job, but he had some bookkeeping experience. What one thing assisted this salesman in starting his own business and now employing a large staff of assistants, providing small merchants with accounting service equal to the best that money can buy at a very nominal cost? He has a fleet of these bookkeeping offices on wheels. What is it that took place in his life? What opened the door? What was at the root of now him having a large staff of assistants and a fleet of bookkeeping offices on wheels? What occurred? Y'all tell me in the chat. I can see it to my left on my screen. What was it that occurred that helped this salesman now have a fleet of bookkeeping offices on wheels and employing a large staff of assistants? Determination? No. What was it that occurred? What was it that occurred? Y'all, come on. I'm going to wait and see what we got. I'm going to wait and see what we've got. Belief? Consistency? Keep coming. So there is no wrong answer, but there is a certain answer. Because if you understand the principles of this book and what we're reading, then you'll understand the answer. Let me give it to you. It's opportunity and an idea. See, he was laid off. He had no job, but he did have a skill set. It goes beyond belief. He had a skill set and an opportunity because the Depression left him with no job, but he picked up a skill set and he had an idea. There was no one doing bookkeeping for the small businesses. And then he decided, I'll set up a portable office and a light delivery truck, which he equipped with modern bookkeeping machinery. Opportunity and an idea. It doesn't even say he had any money. I want y'all to get that. But he had an opportunity and he had an idea. And he wasn't waiting on anything to happen. He had no job. He had a skill set and an idea. And being unemployed opened up the opportunity for him to use the skill set. Now listen, here's what I really want you to understand. I think y'all are missing this in totality. That's why I said I have a gift to bring this book to life. A salesman in a grocery store found himself with no job. Having some bookkeeping experience, Tamika. He was not a bookkeeper. He did not have a degree in bookkeeping. He was a salesman. He created his own opportunity. When there is no door, build one and knock it down. Come on, somebody. Come on. This book says he was a salesman with bookkeeping, with a little bit of bookkeeping experience. Yo, see, you know what? I'm certain that every person that has read this book before overlooked the fact that he said that this as a salesman, having had some bookkeeping experience. How many people want to be honest and say that they never even saw that? So now you got a salesman who has no idea. He had a little bit of it. I mean, that's like saying a A man who could cook a little bit, he wasn't a cook, opened up a restaurant. So that's why it's so important. Book club is so important because we're going to see things together that you did not see by yourself. So that it shows you, Tina, that it doesn't matter what you know right now. That if you understand that you can have have an opportunity, and then you can create and learn a skill set, it doesn't matter what you know right now. He had no degree in bookkeeping. He had no degree in machinery and things like that. But this says a salesman in a grocery store, having had some bookkeeping experience, decides, well, let me take a special course in accounting so that I can familiarize myself with all of the latest bookkeeping and office equipment. Then he goes into business for himself. Now, here's what's so amazing about this. Here's what's he took an accounting course to familiarize himself with the latest bookkeeping. Where did the office equipment instructions come from? Come. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and let me just keep reading. That was paragraph 1 for today. Literally, if we stopped reading for today, we got some revelation in paragraph number 1. His idea was so practical that he found it necessary to set up a portable office and a light delivery truck. What idea do you have that's so practical that you're saying, oh no, that's a dumb idea? That's like a kiddie idea. That's like a baby idea. It says the idea was so practical. Let me go help people for a nominal fee with small businesses, because small businesses can't afford big fees for bookkeeping. Okay. Specialized knowledge, listen, plus imagination were the ingredients that went into this unique and successful business. Type that in the chat. Specialized knowledge with imagination, an idea. What do you currently have, Tamika, that somebody else needs? What do you currently have, Tina, Tedra, that someone else needs? It only takes an idea. What can you do? A few minutes a day, get in your car and go a couple of places and provide a service or provide a need. How do you solve a problem for the masses of busy people? How can you solve a problem? This didn't say here's what's so crazy, Jack. This didn't say, Paul, that he went and looked for another job. It says he went to get a skill set so that he could provide a service because he had an idea. Light bulb goes off. All right. Last year, the owner of that business paid an income tax of almost 10 times as much as was paid by the merchant for whom he worked. When the depression forced him into a temporary adversity, some of y'all, I need y'all to write that in the chat. Everybody write temporary adversity. Tests and trials come to make us strong. Storms don't last always. So it says, when he came upon when the depression forced upon him a temporary adversity, which proved to be a blessing in disguise. How do you not know that the temporary adversity that you are facing right now is not a blessing in disguise? And instead of crying about it, falling out about it, fainting about it, getting on the phone to call everybody that you know and tell them everything that's going on. No. You know, there's something major happening in our life right now, the life of our family, and I didn't post about it one time today. And the only reason why there are a few people that know what's taking place right now is because they were with me when I got the phone call. That's the only reason why. Because I didn't have to take to Facebook because our family is experiencing, right? Something that we needed some prayer for. We knew everything was going to be okay. But I was in the car with Alicia and Tedra and Michelle Johnson, and they heard the phone call. That's the only reason why 3 other people know. Because instead of running to Facebook and calling all around in your phone, go to the Father. Go to the person that we say we trust to handle everything, right? And Lisa knows because she's my cousin. Temporary adversity. Because see, when you believe in the promise keeper, what is there to fret about? There's nothing to post about. There's nothing to fret about. Go to the Father. Hey, Daddy, I need you to handle something. Right? So the beginning of this successful business was an idea. Inasmuch as I had the privilege of supplying, listen, the unemployed salesman with that idea, I now assume the further privilege of suggesting another idea, which has within it the possibility of greater income. Also, the possibility of rendering useful service to thousands of people who badly need that service. What do you do? What can you do that provides, that renders useful service to thousands of people? Some of us are missing it. If it was a snake, it would bite you. If it was a snake, if it was a fire, you'd get burnt. You've got something powerful in your hands right now. How do you solve a problem? If you're broke with all of the technology that is out right now, AI, have you even gone to Google to say, how can I use this product that I have to earn more income? Have you gone to your AI, chat, the Ruby AI? We have Ruby AI, Chat GPTs, and Canva AI, and ask, how can I have this particular product? How can I use this particular product to multiply my income? Have you even asked? Or you waiting for somebody to tell you what to do? You're waiting for somebody to give it to you. An idea. How do we render useful service to the thousands of people who badly need that service? The idea was suggested by the salesman who gave up selling and went into business of keeping books on a wholesale basis. When the plan was suggested as a solution of his unemployment problem, he quickly exclaimed, I like the idea, but I would not know how to turn it into cash. In other words, he complained he would not know how to market his bookkeeping knowledge after he acquired it. Uh-oh. He complained. Oh, that's a great idea. Somebody's giving you an idea. Somebody's showing you an opportunity. And instead of trying to figure out on your own, think and grow rich. Type that in the chat. Think and grow rich. Type that in the chat. Think and grow rich. Think. You know what? Let's look up the word think. What is the definition of the word think? Let's look it up. Let's look it up, y'all. What is the problem of man? What is the problem of man, y'all? What's the problem of man? They simply don't think because we got this free brain in our head. And every time we get something for free, we don't even value it, right? Think is to have a particular opinion, belief, or idea about someone or something. Think is to direct one's mind towards someone or something, use one's mind actively to form connected ideas. I'm going to say this again. Think is an act of thinking. It is a verb. It is directing one's mind towards someone or something to use one's mind actively to form connected ideas. Think. Form connected ideas. And if you don't have the answer or don't know the answer, Google it. Think and grow rich. We have to think our way through. You know, I run a business, you guys, and I have a group chat. And in that chat, some of the questions that get popped off in the chat, I can see people haven't had any thought process because instead of thinking through it or instead of going to Google first, what they do is immediately go to the chat. We've got to think our way through to success. Think, connect ideas, and think our way through. So this says, He would not, he complained, but he complained, Tamika, he complained. He would not know how to market this bookkeeping knowledge after he acquired it. So that brought up another problem, which had to be solved. With the aid of a young woman typist, clever at hand lettering, and who would put the story together, a very attractive book was prepared, describing the advantages of the new system of bookkeeping. The pages were neatly typed and pasted in an ordinary scrapbook, which was used as a silent salesman, with which the story of this new business was so effectively told that its owner soon had more accounts than he could handle. Won't he do it? So he didn't even have to talk to sell. Someone typed up some information in a scrapbook. He passed it around and it did the promoting for him. There are thousands of people all over the country who need the service of merchandising specialists capable of preparing an attractive brief for use in marketing personal services. The aggregate annual income from such a service might easily exceed that received by the largest employment agency, and the benefits of the service might be made far greater to the purchaser than any to be obtained from an employment agency. The idea here described was born of necessity to bridge an emergency which had to be covered, but it did not stop by merely serving one person. The woman who created the idea has a keen imagination. She saw in her newly born brainchild the making of a new profession, one that is destined to render valuable services to thousands of people who need practical guidance in marketing personal services. Spurred to action by the instantaneous success of her first prepared plan to market personal services, this energetic woman turned next to the solution of a similar problem for her son, who had just finished college but had been totally unable to find a market for his services. The plan she originated for his use was the finest specimen of merchandising of personal services I have ever seen. When the plan book had been completed, it contained nearly 50 pages of beautifully typed, properly organized information telling the story of her son's native ability, schooling, personal experiences, and a great variety of other information too, extensive for description. The plan book also contained a complete description of the position her son desired, together with a marvelous world picture of the exact plan he would use in filling the position. The preparation of the plan book required several weeks' labor, during which time its creator sent her son to the public library almost daily to procure data needed in selling his services to the best advantage. Okay. So basically, although there was an idea, although there was a business concept, this young man still had to go and do the research to procure the information that he needed to better advance this business idea to sell himself and the skills that he could offer to any business. I hope y'all are hearing me. So just because he was given the idea of the business doesn't mean that he doesn't still have to go and do the research for himself. Can I get a ooh woo? Can I get a woo woo in the chat? Can I get a woo woo? Because we want too much stuff handed to us on a silver platter. She says this took several weeks of preparation, and she sent him to the library every single day to procure the information for this project, to get the data needed in selling the services to the best advantage. She sent them to the competitors so listen, it required several weeks. When the plan was finished, it contained more than half a dozen very fine suggestions for the use and benefit of the prospective employer. The suggestions were to put it into use by the company. So basically, she sent them to the library almost daily to procure data needed in selling his services to the best advantages. She sent him also, to all the competitors of his prospective employer and gathered from them vital information concerning their business methods, which was of great value in the formation of the plan he intended to use in filling the position that he sought. When the plan was finished, it contained more than a half a dozen very fine suggestions, blah, blah, blah. One may be inclined to ask, Why go to all this trouble to secure a job? Why go to all this trouble to secure clientele? Why go to all this trouble to secure new customers? Why go to all this trouble to secure new business partners? Why go through all this trouble to learn your craft? Why go through all this trouble to become the best of the best of the best? Why go through all this trouble to understand sales if you're in sales? Why go through all this trouble to understand plumbing more effectively if you're saying you want to be a plumber? Why go through all this trouble, Rosa, Tara, Valerie, Brenda? Why go through all this trouble to acquire what you say you want? Why go through all this trouble? I would love to see your answers. Why go through all this trouble? The answer is straight to the point. Also, it is dramatic because it deals with a subject which assumes the proportion of a tragedy with millions of men and women whose sole source of income is personal services. The answer is doing a thing well never is trouble. So do you want to do a thing or do you want to do a thing well? Y'all answer in the chat. Do you want to do a thing or do you want to do a thing well? You know, I set up table displays when I'm doing events, and I make sure that I have really, really nice things to put on those table displays so that my table is attractive to the eye, because I don't want to half behind, I almost said another word, do things. I want to do them well. I'm in business for myself, you guys. I run a network marketing business, and I close out my business every single week. I'm watching my numbers. I'm looking for new business partners all the time. I don't go to bed without making sure my business is complete because I'm going to do a thing well. I don't have behind. You know what I've learned, y'all? It's amazing, Tara. We want everybody else to give us excellence and service, but we don't want to provide it. We want everyone else to operate in excellence, but we don't want to give that back in return. Uh-oh. So the coaches and the pastors and the teachers and the preachers and they better all do it in excellence, but I'm going to show up half behind. I'm going to show up when I feel like it, how I feel like it. I'll do business when I feel like it. But they better show up in excellence. We should give what we expect. And guess what? Based on the laws of reciprocity, if you give what you expect, you'll always get that in return. Uh-oh, that one was for free. Doing a thing well is never trouble. The plan prepared by this woman for the benefit of her son helped him get the job for which he applied at the first interview at a salary fixed by himself. Moreover, and this too is important, the position did not require the young man to start at the bottom. He began as a junior executive at an executive's salary. You know why? Because he did the research. He did the research to learn what the competitors needed. And so when he went to the job that he actually wanted, he was able to prepare not just how I can help your business to better by hiring me, but based on, Tamika, based on the competition. And this is how they're doing things. This is what we can do to scale your business even the more, because doing well is never trouble. Doing a thing well is never trouble. Why go to all this trouble, do you ask? Well, for one thing, the planned presentation of this young man's application for a position clipped off no less than 10 years of time he would have had to require to get to where he began, had he started at the bottom and worked his way up. So, Tedra, doing a thing well and being studied and knowing a thing and understanding how things operate and learning your skill sets could shave off 10 years and put you in position to earn 10 times more than what it would take you 10 years to do. Being prepared. Why does it matter? It matters because doing a thing well is never trouble. Don't put this in the chat, but grade yourself on how you're doing things. Are you doing things well? Or are you half at it? Are you half at it? Or are you doing a thing well? Based on what you say you want. Well, I want to lose 100 pounds. What are you doing? Behind closed doors. Because what you do behind closed doors, that's what the world sees. What are you doing? Well, I want to earn an extra $1,000 a month. I want to get off my job. What are you doing? What's your daily activity like? What's your plan of action? What have you done to study your craft? The idea of starting at the bottom and working one's way up may appear to be sound, but the major objection to it is this. Too many of those who begin at the bottom never manage to lift their heads high enough to be seen by opportunity. So they remain at the bottom. Y'all, the bottom is crowded. The bottom is crowded. The bottom is full of average people who won't do a thing well. Don't be mad at me. Listen, don't hate the messenger. Hate the message. I'm just reading the book. I'm just reading the book. So they remain at the bottom. It should be remembered also that the outlook from the bottom is not so very bright or encouraging. It has a tendency to kill off ambition. I'm going to take a sip on that. The outlook at the bottom is not so very bright or encouraging. It has a tendency to kill off ambition. I'm going to say it again. The outlook at the bottom is not so very bright or encouraging. It has a tendency to kill off ambition. So staying at the bottom where it's crowded and you stay there long enough, it's going to kill your ambition because you will never see your way up. But when you just reach and you keep stretching and you actually go up and you've had a taste of up, let me tell you something. See, what'll happen is even if you go up and you come down, when you've had a taste of up, you won't lay down long. We call it getting into a rut. How many of you right now are in a rut that you put yourself in? Be honest. How many of you are in a self-made rut? You know, Paul and I were talking earlier, and we were saying, when it comes to our physical health, my goal is to be healthy. Even though I'm thin, my goal was not to be thin. My goal was to be healthy. And I was on the phone with someone, and I said, Paul and I were talking this morning, and I said, you can't out. What did we say? You can't out eat. You can't out a bad diet. You can't outwork a bad diet. That's what we said. You can't outwork a bad diet. And so meaning you just can't keep eating bad and hit the gym once a week thinking because you hit that gym or use some kind of supplements or whatever that you could just eat bad and have the kind of results that you say you want. You cannot outwork a bad diet. It goes hand in hand. So all I know is there are some people that are in a rut. You're in a rut. You're in a rut that you put yourself in. But the bottom, as this says, is not so very bright or encouraging and has a tendency to kill off ambition. So you know why you're now stuck? You know why you're stuck, y'all? You're stuck because the bottom, you've been there, you won't move because you will not allow yourself to do the hard thing first. And you won't move because now your ambition is killed because you done sat there too long. So we call it getting into a rut. Listen, which means that we accept our fate because we form the habit of daily routine, a habit that finally becomes so strong we cease to try to throw it off. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh. Do you hear this? So if you're in a rut, it is because you've accepted your fate. Because you formed the habit of daily routine, a habit that finally becomes so strong we cease to even try to throw it off. So because let's just say your goal, your physical goal, let's just say you've got a goal to lose 40 pounds, 30 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds. You looking at the big number that is required for you to lose. And because you're looking at the big number required for you to lose, you won't move. So you keep in this daily routine of eating bad, cooking bad, and just think, oh, and now you're in a rut. And it has become so strong that you won't even throw it off. When you're accepting your fate exactly as a limitation, instead of changing the daily routine and habit. Because this says we form a habit of daily routine. So it sounds to me like if you're looking for a change in any area of your life, it requires you to form another habit of a daily routine. Can I get a whoop whoop in the chat? Form another habit of a daily routine. Whatever habit you have right now, do something else. Type that in the chat. Do something else. Do something else. By doing so, one forms the habit of looking around and observing how others get ahead, of seeing opportunity and embracing it without hesitation. Dan Halpin is a splendid example of what I mean. During his college days, he was the manager of the famous 1930 National Championship Notre Dame football team when it was under the direction of the late Knute Rockne. Perhaps he was inspired by the great football coach to aim high and not mistake temporary defeat for failure. Do not mistake temporary defeat for failure. How do you start winning? Do something else. If what you're doing is not currently working, but you find that you have success for like a moment here and a moment there, Anithia, and a moment here and a moment there, what is it that is helping you to have success during those moments that you have success in? What is it? Do more of that. Do something else. See, the reality of it is, you know how to have success in any area of your life. You know how to lose weight. You know how to earn more income. You know how to do it. You just haven't decided that you want to continue to pay the price. You haven't decided if you want to continue to make the sacrifice. So you'll make the sacrifice for a day. You'll make the sacrifice for 4 days. You'll make the sacrifice for about 7 days. You might even go about 10 days. But do you know that if you would make those sacrifices for a full 30 days, that it would become a habit? A new habit? Perhaps he was inspired by the great football coach to aim high and not mistake temporary defeat for failure, just as Andrew Carnegie, the great industrial leader, inspired his young business lieutenants to set high goals for themselves. You know, when you set a goal that's low and you keep hitting that goal, that's what's wrong. You're not growing because you keep setting a goal that's so low that you, yes, will hit it. You got to set a goal that's high enough for you to have to stretch to reach that capacity. You know, I normally have, let me use this. This is not a rubber band. I normally have a rubber band on my arm, but my daughter needed it today after school. But in order, thank you, boo. So this will hold some hair, right? But in order for this to be even used properly, you have to begin to do this. Now, this didn't break, but it expanded. And now what has happened, Jason, Yolanda, is now the stretching gets easier because the object is now getting accustomed to being stretched beyond what it thought its capacity was. So you keep thinking that this is your capacity. And you're looking at your life, and you're looking at your mind, and you're looking at your resources, and you're looking at your stuff, and you're like, that's my capacity. But it is not your capacity. That's a lie. You've got more capacity in you. Stretch. At any rate, young Halpin finished college at a highly unfavorable time when the Depression had made jobs scarce. So, after a fling at investment banking and motion pictures, he took the first opening with a potential future he could find, selling electrical hearing aids on a commission basis. Anyone could start in that sort of job, and Halpin knew it. But it was enough to open the door of opportunity to him. Sometimes all we need, Lisa, sometimes all we need, Beverly, sometimes all we need, Marguerite, sometimes all we need, Janice, is an opportunity, a door to get open, that we can walk through it and take advantage of the opportunity. And what people don't understand is opportunities of a lifetime, they don't always come around. But when they do it, it is very important to seize the opportunity in the season of its lifetime. For almost 2 years, he continued in a job not to his liking. And he would never have arisen above that job if he had not done something about his dissatisfaction. He aimed first at the job of assistant sales manager of his company and got the job. That one step upward placed him high enough above the crowd to enable him to still see greater opportunity. Also, it placed him where opportunity could see him. That one step upward placed him high enough above the crowd to enable him to still see greater opportunity. Also, it placed him where opportunity could see him. Sometimes when you just, I think about a young lady on our team, you guys, her name is Alicia Richardson. And she hit a goal that our business team had. And she kept hitting that goal and hitting that goal and hitting that goal and hitting that goal. She was hitting that goal even when it wasn't required for a specific award or a recognition. She just kept hitting the goal and hitting the goal and hitting the goal. And you know what? That action of hers gained her access this past weekend, that normally a person would not have had. But her efforts, Jason, were recognized. And so it placed her where opportunity could see her. Some of y'all don't. He made such a fine record selling hearing aids that A.M. Andrews, chairman of the board of Dictograph Products Company, a business competitor of the company for which Halpin worked, wanted to know something about that man, Dan Halpin, who was taking big sales away from the long-established Dictograph company. He sent for Halpin. When the interview was over, Halpin was the new sales manager in charge of the Acousticon division. Then, to test young Halpin's mettle, Mr. Andrews went away to Florida for 3 months, leaving him to sink or swim in his new job. He did not sink. Knute Rockne's spirit of all the world loves a winner and has no time for a loser inspired him to put so much into his job that he was recently elected vice president of the company and general manager of the Acousticon and silent radio division, a job which most men would be proud to earn through 10 years of loyal effort. Halpin turned the trick in a little more than 6 months. Opportunity could see him. It is difficult to say whether Mr. Andrews or Mr. Halpin is more deserving of eulogy for the reason that both showed evidence of having an abundance of that very rare quality known as imagination. Mr. Andrews deserves credit for seeing in a young Halpin a go-getter of the highest order. Halpin deserves credit for refusing to compromise with life by accepting and keeping a job he did not want. And that was one of the major points. I am trying to emphasize through this entire philosophy that we rise to high positions or remain at the bottom because of conditions we can control if we desired to control them. I want to ask a question as we're reading. How does this make you feel? This book is saying we rise to high positions or we remain at the bottom because of conditions we can control if we desire to control them. Sounds like the major word right here, Paul, is desire. So if you're at the bottom and if you are not winning, a friend of mine, a business partner this weekend, opened up her speech, her trainings by saying, wherever you are right now is your fault. You can't look to the left. You can't look to the right. You got to look in the mirror. And it sounds here that somebody lying to themselves. And we hear what you're saying. I want to earn $10,000 a month. I want to lose this 100 pounds. I want to lose 40 pounds. I want to do X, Y, and Z. But it says here, if you're remaining at the bottom because of conditions you can control if you desire to control them. I'm sure this is where it's going to get quiet. This is where the cricket's going to crick, 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 crick. How does that make you feel? See, because you know what? I watch people blame other people often for their lack of success. I watch people make excuses often for their lack of success. And I sit and wonder all the time, when are they gonna take accountability for where they're at right now? 100% accountability for where they're at right now. If you believe you can, you're absolutely right. You can and you will. And if you believe that you can't, you're absolutely right. You can, you can't, and you won't. Whatever you choose to believe is exactly right. I see we're not even getting no comments on that one. I'm also trying to emphasize another point, namely that both success and failure are largely the results of habit. The book says it, not me. Success and failure are largely the results of habits. Let's look at what the word habits mean. You know, I used to do this thing, and I never did it. I didn't do it. I didn't. Once I made a decision to lose weight, I did it. I didn't go back and forth, back and forth. I didn't yo-yo. I didn't yo-yo. Habits. But I watch people lose 10 pounds and then celebrate, wonder why they stuck or gaining weight again. Because you celebrate. You give yourself permission to have a whole day of celebrate. I'm going to celebrate this weekend. I'm going to eat whatever I want. I don't care what they think, and I don't care what they say. Y'all have said it. Habit. A settled. Oh, the word settled. How does it make you feel settling? A settled or regular tendency or practice, especially one that is hard to give up. Habit. You ready for this one? This is my favorite one. It is an automatic reaction to a specific situation. Habit. Auto suggestion. Y'all remember that? Success and failure are largely the results of habit. I have not the slightest doubt that Dan Halpin's close association with the greatest football coach America ever knew planted in his mind the same brand of desire to excel, which made the Notre Dame football team world famous. Truly, there is something to the idea that hero worship is helpful, provided one worships a winner. See, you know what really cracks me up? Let me tell you what cracks me up, Tamika. What cracks me up, as a man or a woman think if so is he or she. What cracks me up is when they say, now you starting to sound like such and such. And you starting to, now you dressing like such and such. And yeah, I am. Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Yup, I want to look and sound like somebody else who's super successful. Because I don't know about y'all, but it's about to get real successful around here. I don't know about y'all. And then here come the stinking thinkers. You starting to sound like such and such. Yup, I am. Thank you. I'll take that as a compliment. Thank you so much. See, I don't care how you intended it. I'm going to take the power away from you because you're a fool. You are a fool, and I'm going to leave you right in a fool's place. Yes, I certainly am. Thank you. Truly, there is something to the idea that hero worship is helpful, provided one worships a winner. Halpin tells me that Rothney was one of the world's greatest leaders of men in all history. My belief in the theory that business associations are vital factors, both in failure and in success, was recently demonstrated when my son Blair was negotiating with Dan Halpin for a position. Mr. Halpin offered from a beginning salary of about 1/2 what he could have gotten from a rival company. I brought parental pressure to bear, and induced him to accept the place with Mr. Halpin because I believe that close association with one who refuses to compromise with circumstances he does not like is an asset that can never be measured in terms of money. So basically, she said, I'm going to take the less amount of money. I am. I'm going to take the less amount of money. Son, take the lesser amount of money so that you can work closely to a winner. Do y'all get it? Okay. You need to be around a winner. So you know what? Although you're going to get paid a little bit less, what you're going to get in proximity from being around a winner, You're going to level up in your thinking. You're going to level up in the people that you're able to sit and have dinner with. See, the conversation is real different at dinner with winners. You know what? The conversation is real different when you sit at the table with a bunch of winners. It ain't the same kind of conversation when you sit at the table with a bunch of losers. Okay. I believe that close association with one who refuses to compromise with circumstances he does not like is an asset that can never be measured in terms of money. Let me tell y'all something. I don't even want nobody sitting around me. I don't even want anyone sitting around me in my personal space who likes to compromise and lose. And when you get around those winners, shut your mouth. You're the student. You're not the know-it-all. Shut your mouth. Always got, because you see me and always got something to say. Shut your mouth when you get around those winners. Be quiet. Study to be quiet. The Bible says, study to shut up. Basically, that's what the Bible says. If you don't believe me, it's in there. Google it. You have to be quiet. What are you, help me understand, what are you getting in front of the room to teach somebody you haven't done nothing? It's called be quiet. It be the main ones talking about be quiet that won't be quiet. The bottom is a monotonous, dreary, unprofitable place for any person. The bottom is a monotonous, dreary, unprofitable place for any person. I'm going to say it again, what the book is saying. The bottom is a monotonous, dreary, unprofitable place for any person. That is why I've taken the time to describe how lowly beginnings may be circumvented by proper planning. Yes, everybody got to start at the bottom, but you got to plan your way out of the bottom. Also, that is why so much space has been devoted to a description of this new profession created by a woman who was inspired to do a fine job of planning because she wanted her son to have a favorable break. With the changed conditions ushered in by the world economic collapse came also the need for newer and better ways of marketing personal services. It is hard to determine why someone had not previously discovered this stupendous need. Ooh, we 2 minutes away. In a view of the fact that more money changes hands in return for personal services than any other purpose. Let me say it again. More money changes hands in return for personal services than for any other purpose. The sum paid out monthly to people who work for wages and salaries is so huge that it runs into hundreds of millions, and the annual distribution amounts to billions. Perhaps some will find in the idea here briefly describe the nucleus of the riches they desire. Ideas with much less merit have been the seedlings from which great fortunes have grown. Woolworth's 5 and 10-cent store idea, for example, had far less merit, but it piled up a fortune for its creator. Those seeing opportunity lurking in the suggestion will find valuable aid in the chapter in organized planning. Incidentally, an efficient merchandiser of personal services will find a growing demand for his services wherever there are men and women who seek better markets for their services. By applying the mastermind principle, a few people with suitable talent could form an alliance and have a paying business very quickly. One would need to be a fair writer with a flair for advertising and selling, one handy at typing and hand lettering, and one should be a first-class business getter who would let the world know about the service. If one possessed all these abilities, he might carry on the business alone until it outgrew him. The woman who prepared the personal services sales plan for her son, now receives requests from all parts of the country for her cooperation in preparing similar plans for others who desire to market their personal services for more money. She has a staff of expert typists, artists, and writers who have the ability to dramatize the case history so effectively that one's personal services can be marketed for much more money than the prevailing wages for similar services. She is so confident of her ability that she accepts as the major portion of her fee a percentage of the increased pay she helps her client to earn. It must not be supposed that her plan merely consists of clever salesmanship by which she helps men and women to demand and receive more money for the same services they formerly sold for less pay. She looks after the interests of the purchaser as well as the seller of personal services as she prepares her plans that the employer receives full value for the additional money he pays. The method by which she accomplishes this astonishing result is a professional secret which she discloses to no one excepting her own clients. If you have the imagination and seek a more profitable outlet for your personal services, this suggestion may be the stimulus for which you have been searching. The idea is capable of yielding an income far greater than that of the average doctor, lawyer, or engineer whose education required several years in college. The idea is saleable to those seeking new positions and practically all positions calling for managerial or executive ability, and those desiring rearrangement of incomes in their present positions. There is no fixed price for sound ideas. Back of all ideas is specialized knowledge. Unfortunately, for those who do not find riches in abundance, specialized knowledge is more abundant and more easily acquired than ideas. Because of this very truth, there is a universal demand and an ever-increasing opportunity for the person capable of helping men and women to sell their personal services advantageously. Capability means imagination. Capability means imagination. The one quality needed to combine specialized knowledge with ideas in the form of organized plans designed to yield riches. If you have imagination, this chapter may present with you an idea sufficient to reserve as the beginning of the riches you desire. Remember, the idea is the main thing. Specialized knowledge may be found just around the corner, any corner. And that ends Chapter 5, you guys. Listen, I myself have a coaching session that I got to get on because I'm in a season where I'm in level up of my mind and level up of my skill set, looking to acquire bigger and greater skill sets so that I can now pass that on to the people that are connected to me, especially in business. And so I am so glad we had this time together. Hope that you enjoyed this week's book club. Listen, I want you to remember that no matter what you are going through in life, you must remember that you can live again, laugh again, hope again, dream again, and you most certainly can bling again. I want you to have a bling-tastic rest of your day or evening, a bling-tastic week. Listen, pay it forward and do a good deed. Be kind to one another, right? Spread love and spread joy. Smile because it just might make someone's day all the greater. Now, listen, remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button so that you never, ever, ever miss another book club. We will be back next Monday. Make sure you invite someone. So that you are able to grow with them because sharing is caring. And also make sure you go to register at www.ninarmorer.com. www.ninarmorer.com. You are seeing it down below. Now listen, if you are in the Atlanta area or anywhere nearby or fly in, okay, on December the 2nd, I want you to hear this and you will see the link typed right there. On December the 2nd, I want you to meet me at our Dream Again Vision Experience, where you'll have a full dinner. You're going to get people that are going to be there to help you cast vision. One of our very special guests is going to be Stanisha Graham, who is a former professional basketball player and multiple seven-figure income earner. And we heard that David Power Talk is going to be in the building, as well as so many other guests. They're going to be there to help you write down those things that you want to manifest. I'm going to tell you right now that the tickets are partially sold already, right? We've only got about half the room left available. Do not wait. You're going to go to moragroup.ticketlocity.com. Moragroup with a P .ticketlocity.com. Get your ticket. You are able to break that up into split pay, Afterpay, Klarna, or Affirm. We've got all three methods of payment, you guys. And if you're coming in from out of town, the suggested hotels are also listed in that. You're going to get a full dinner and all materials will be provided for you. Get your ticket now, because once we are sold out, we will not be able to make any other arrangements for anyone. So get your ticket now. My name is Nina Moore. You guys, I love you, and there's absolutely nothing you could do about it. We will see you soon. Good night, and God bless you all.